I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking, American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only. You ain't got no membership. They free General Flint out the cage, cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell Justin Smollett that I know this MAGA country. Tell China we know they.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is kind of a spontaneous show because I know it's not Tuesday. So bear with me because I know people get like, you're probably sick and tired of me already because I've been streaming all the time. I am so sorry. I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat, and then I'm going to bring up Stef. We're going to talk about RFK Jr. I don't really know nothing about the guy, so this is educational for me as well. So let's say hello to King of Dots. He says, RFK is a real man, bluntly truthful, vigorous, with full-blown Kennedy ideals, a true threat to democracy like Trump. God help the communist. Okay. Then we have Leonard Smith. Hello. John Marciano. Hello. Thrifty. Great intro. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. I like these MAGA rappers. Hello, Shaq Composer, K-Fred, and Deborah. Yes, I got all my people here. All right, I'm going to play my political intro because I keep forgetting to do that. You know what? I need to get a co-host with me. I think I'm going to get King Tony. All right, let's get into it. Yay! We have Stephanie. And
hello.
I am going to applaud your entrance.
Thank you. And I loved your intro. That was amazing. And just so everybody knows, we're having a heat wave here in California. So I've got my fan blowing on me right here next to me and my ceiling fan going above. So if I melt away, you'll know why. I don't have air conditioning. I live at the coast, at the beach, but I'm one of many people that don't have air conditioning. So I'm in this room with lights on me, and I had to close the window behind me. But
me too.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'll get through it.
Okay, San Diego, hello. He says he has an appointment in 20 minutes, but he'll be listening.
San Diego Pimo, that's my guy.
Oh, yes. I forgot you guys have met.
That's my
nice.
buddy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got, here we go. Hello to Rack the. I think that's Rachel, right? Remind me if you're Rachel. I forgot. I think I forgot. But hello to everybody. Okay, we have everybody so far that has commented. And I have King Tony backstage, so I'm going to bring her up in just a minute. But if you can just give us an intro, Steph, because I know last time he was on the stream with us, but it was kind of like you hopped on, and I really want to give you like at least a 5-minute good intro of how you stopped being neutral. How did you get into politics, or how did you become opinionated and things like that? So I'll give you like 5 minutes all to yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, and cut me off whenever. Well, I woke up at the age of 49, which was about 2.5 years ago. I was third generation born in, and I woke up with my husband. He was 50 at the time. We are now not together, but that's a whole nother subject. But the interesting thing is, I was pretty familiar with politics growing up because my stepdad, who raised me and I called dad, was always very into politics, even though he had, he didn't become a witness until he was 37. And So that's, you can watch, I talk about that on my video, how I woke up at 49 on my channel. But anyways, interesting. So he was always into politics, and so I just grew up around being familiar with it, even though we didn't vote. My parents didn't vote or anything like that, but just being kind of in the know about things. And then let's see. So then when I got my parents were always very opinionated about politics, even though I think in general witnesses aren't supposed to be, but they were. And they were, even when my dad was an elder and stuff, he got an elder like way after I was already married and out of the house. Okay. So that took a while, but even then he still was opinionated about things. And again, it helped me to kind of be familiar with what was going on in the world and how things worked. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm a know-it-all or anything like that. I'm not, but probably more familiar with like the average Jehovah's Witness. And so when I left the organization, one of the first things I did was register to vote. And so I just feel like you don't complain, don't complain if about how things are, if you're not participating in the process. Although, a lot of us think it's broken. It's a broken system that hopefully can maybe get somewhat fixed. But I still think it's important to be in the know and not be blinded by a lot of things that are going on. So
right. Oh, well, Steph, let me ask you. So what year did you register? And if you're comfortable with revealing when you did register, which party did you feel like you can register as? Like, because I felt very like anxious, because when I didn't even know that when I registered, I had to pick a party and I wasn't sure. So I just clicked independent because I was like, oh, I don't really know too much. So if you can let me know, like, so what year did you register and how did, and what was your party?
Let's see. I think I left in 2022. I either registered later that year or last year. I can't remember. I want to say it was late 2022.
Oh, that's pretty recent. Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. Let's see. Let me think. 22. It was 2022 or 23. And I registered as independent as well, because I don't want to be put in a box.
Yep.
And I think, coming from a cult where you're very much in a box, that's just not for me. I want to have options to go either way, and so I'm an independent.
Okay. So I think that's actually really good, because that's how I started out. I registered in 2018, and that was when Ron DeSantis was running for governor, and he was running against Andrew Gillum, I think it was. And that was the very first one that I was like, I think I like this guy, Ron DeSantis. Like, that was my first time like really getting involved with like the governor and things like that.
I love Ron DeSantis. Yeah.
I'm so glad he won, because my husband was like, oh, I like Andrew and yada yada. He was a little bit more like liberal back then. And then after, I mean, we've seen what has happened, even with like the scandal with Andrew and then Ron DeSantis being governor for 4 years. We were both like, oh, thank God DeSantis won, because who would have known what Florida would have been if we had Andrew Gillum as governor rather than Ron when this whole COVID stuff happened. Like, everybody makes mistakes. I get it. But Ron, he rolled it back. You know what I'm like? They closed the schools down. They closed everything down. But he was one of the very first governors in the beginning that was like, we're going to open up schools. We're going to stop the masking. We're going to do, certain things. And it was only like South Dakota, that governor, that was also like, oh, we've never locked down. And then, like that stuff started happening. So that's why I'm appreciative of DeSantis. But that was my awakening thing. So you're still registered as an independent.
Yes. I will say the thing about we'll probably get into it a little bit, but the scene of politics has changed so
Right.
dramatically over the last few years.
Yeah.
I think everybody would have to agree. And that what the Democrats once stood for has changed dramatically.
Yes.
And that's why there's been a big shift of people moving, out of that. I would say I do lean more towards Republican, but I don't necessarily agree with everything with it, with them.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't know. I really do believe most Americans are more in the middle, sort of, so to speak. But and I do believe in independent thinking now that I'm out of a cult, and not going to be put in a box. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, about how RFK Jr. Even says, like, how the Democratic Party has completely changed from what it used to be.
Right. Okay. Just really quickly, I want to say hi to Freddie G Man. That's my uncle.
Oh, hi, Uncle.
Yeah, that's my uncle. And he's
Nice.
the uncle that was an elder for like 20 something years that
Oh,
woke up recently.
wow.
And we've reconnected.
Congratulations.
Yes. So I've gained an uncle on my father's side of the family. And it was really nice to reconnect with him. And just to let everybody know that I will put the link for other people to join, but that I will do that like after we're done giving, Steph the floor when we watch the RFK stuff. But right now, I'm gonna just bring up King Tony. She's gonna be my co-host for tonight. Oops, sorry. She's gonna be my co-host tonight because I have to step away for just 5 minutes. So King Tony, if you could please unmute yourself and bless us with your beautiful face.
Take the
and
floor.
Have a little conversation with Steph. And I'll be right back in 5 minutes.
No
so,
problem.
Steph, this is my cousin King Tony. We're from Manhattan, New York, Brooklyn.
Yes.
And she also has finally stopped going to the meetings. I told this girl, what are you doing? Stop going to the memorial. Stop doing stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna step away for like 5 minutes, and King Tony and Steph, take it away.
We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a question before we get into the whole RFK speech and everything. So I didn't know this. This is the first time I've heard about it. So you just recently stopped going to the meetings?
So it's been I've been leaving little by little within the last 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But officially within the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't been to meetings. I stopped listening in. I stopped everything because I don't want to be a hypocrite,
Yeah.
To myself.
And how is that working out for you with family and friends and stuff?
Oh man. It's been pretty interesting for a while. There was no talking, no like reaching out, not even like I have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. My son's 7, my daughter's turning 2 in December. And like no reaching out for the kids, nothing like that. I have a big family. I have 3 sisters, a brother, and my parents. And obviously like Ruby's my cousin. And
are they all witnesses?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So there's one, which is Jenny actually, who she kind of talks to me, and she was the one that kind of like was that bridge between me and my family. And like, when I went through a lot, she kind of like, shunned me a little bit too, but like she still would check in and she would kind of call and make sure everything's okay. Like, and she's really the only one that comes to my house to see me or my kids.
And who is this, did you say?
My sister, Jen.
Oh, your sister. Okay.
Yeah. Ruby knows that we've been through a lot. And now I'm trying to get into the political part. I was very against the voting. I still have never registered. Although one year I almost did, because Ruby was just at me and like what she says, it makes sense, in order to see some change, you have to be a part of it. And if you see things out of whack or, not the way you think it's going, but you're not a part of it. How can you really complain about it? It makes sense. So I'm slowly being more interested. Actually, it's interesting to see now.
It is interesting. It is interesting. I mean, I do believe it has its flaws. The whole thing. I'm not gonna lie, it does. But it's still interesting, and I still believe it's important to be informed on what's going on.
Yeah, because it's true. If you're not involved, or if you're not like looking into it, you're really blind still. How are you gonna know anything about what's going on and like who's gonna run this country?
Right.
But I enjoy watching you guys and like other people talk, like the passion. I think I appreciate it and it's helping me more and more to like take that step, you know.
Yeah. And I for the talking generally with Jehovah's Witnesses in general, they just are so uninformed. It's crazy. Yeah.
But you know what was interesting is that when I was in New York City in summer 2021, that's when I was a little bit more verbally open with my cousins, not just Tony, but other cousins of ours. And we used to work together all at the same place. It was like the coolest time in our history because we all worked at a movie theater. So we were always together. But since we all had different last names, they didn't know we were related until they found out that we were related. So we would always hang out, and then afterwards we would go outside and we would smoke and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It is legal in the city now. They passed it by that time. So we would go out, we would smoke together, and it was really weird to like smoke with my cousins because I mean, Tony was used to it. She smokes all the time, but I have never done it like publicly with other people. So
and it was funny.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
Getting high together. You know what? This is not the screen for that, but I'm just saying, like, you could imagine doing it with your family is one of the funnest things ever.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we would go outside, and that was one of the conversations. We were all in the park, just sitting down smoking.
Yes, and it was COVID.
And they and Tony and my other cousin Andrew, they started asking me, "Oh, so you're a Trump supporter? You like Trump?" And it was like the elephant in the room between us because they knew my posts, like they saw my Instagram, my Twitter, my stuff, and I'm sure you guys, talked about it, like, "Oh, Ruby did this, oh, she's crazy," and so that was like the moment they came to me, like personally, they said, "Ruby, why do you like Trump?" And I was like, okay, you want to go there? Let's have this conversation. And that was one of the hardest things because I felt like I had two liberals in front of me and I'm the only conservative that had to, defend why I liked Trump or whatever. And that was one of the most freeing conversations that I had with my cousins because we don't talk like this. And even Andrew's not a witness or anything, but he was like really interested to ask us. And then I told
one second. My dog is relentless. He's wanting to go outside. I'm gonna go let him out.
Okay. I'll just catch up on the chat. Let's see. Hello to Keith Silver. Thrifty says Trump says he supports the devil's lettuce, but there needs to be some laws so it doesn't get buck wild in here or moose wild in here. Buck wild? What she means by that? Is that a deer or a moose? I don't know what the heck that is. You're killing me. Nah, I need my glasses. Hold on. Where's my glass? Where's your glasses, Tony? Where's your glasses? Look at you already smoking. Mira me. Speaking of the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Okay, Stef is back.
I might have to get up again to let him back in. He's
but don't worry, it's live. Okay. All right. Yeah, she says buck wild so that it doesn't get buck wild. Yeah, I totally get it. Okay. So yeah, Stephanie, that was one of the first times that I actually spoke about politics in front of my cousins, and I had to give a reason why I like Trump and to also challenge each other's ideas. And I said, well, you watch the news. Well, how do you feel about it? Well, what if you never saw that? would your opinion be different? You know, like we had to counter each other's ideas for the very first time in our generation, because we never talked like that before.
Yeah, but
So
seeing Ruby being like
Mhm.
firm in her opinion and standing up for it, and like just it helped open my eyes a little bit too. And it's like, you know what, it's true. Like, when am I gonna have control and be able to make some type of change, or try to make some type of change, you know, and be a part of that? That is like, so yeah, it was eye opening for me too, to see her, and she's younger than me, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, where am I? How can I be a part of this? So
Right.
I will have to say, growing up, I told you my mom and dad were paid attention to politics and had opinions and stuff, and they definitely aligned with the Republican Party, or conservative party anyway. You know, so I always kind of clung to that, and the morals of that they tend to have. I mean, I don't agree with every single thing, but yeah, I grew up with that mentality and that, what's the word I want? Not pressure, because they didn't, we weren't political, but just that
But that's what
mentality in the household, you know.
you were exposed to those types of opinions, so you let yourself think along the same lines, and then you
Yes.
can form your own opinions. That's exactly what I try to do here. It's like you listen to other people, and then the viewer can form their own opinions, because you have three different perspectives here. You have the chat to look at. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, Stephanie, about RFK Jr. If you had any like specific things that you liked about him, that he was running for president, because if he was running for president, like that was the person who you were like, I want to vote for RFK Jr. And I've never met an RFK Jr. supporter, so I was curious
Yeah. I was
why you.
actually very what's the word I want? I was very torn as to, was I going to vote for Trump or was I going to vote for RFK, because I was a big fan of RFK Jr. and all the things he's very passionate about are things that I'm very passionate about. So yeah, so that it was very conflicted. He's very for fighting against chronic disease, both in adults and children, and very against jabs, and so, and then he's, I'll get into it a little bit more when I get into my notes here that I have, but he's very passionate about health in general,
Right.
which I am
Right.
too. That
Mhm.
And so, and the fact, part of my waking up process from the Jehovah's Witnesses centered
Mhm.
around health, and I take that seriously, and I'm not going to let anybody take control of
Mhm.
my health. So
Right.
that's where I appreciated his political stance on things. My dog, I'm sorry, I told you I was going to have to go let him back in.
Okay. Yeah.
He's barking to come back in the house now after he
Okay. No problem.
ate,
Go
I
ahead.
guess.
Go ahead. And when Stephanie comes back, we are going to do a little recap on the entrance, I guess you would say, of RFK Jr. as a special guest in the Trump rally, because that speech is it's not as long as the other speech, because the press conference that he gave was like 40 minutes, so we're going to do the 12-minute version. Okay, Steph. So
Yes, I'm back.
are you ready? Are you ready to watch the entrance of
Yeah,
and
let's
his
do
little
it.
speech?
Yes.
Okay.
Is
Yep.
this the
Let's.
RNC? Yeah. Oh my God,
Yes.
gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, me too.
Tonight, I'm very pleased to welcome a man who has been an incredible champion for so many of these values that we all share, and we've shared them for a long time. I don't think too many of you people have heard of him. He's very low key. He's a very low key person. but he's highly respected. He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Can you turn it up at all? That song is amazing. Fireworks. That's so awesome.
Man, whoa.
Goosebumps with
Oh,
the
totally.
goosebumps with
And he
the, of
deserves
the
it.
yelling.
He deserves it.
He is in amazing shape. Oh my God. I think he said
Oh,
he's
yeah.
70. He is in amazing shape for
For
70.
the past 16
Oh,
months,
yeah.
Bobby has run
I absolutely love
Oh, come
using
on.
BetterHelp.
They don't want me to see RFK, yo.
a campaign for president of the United States. I know, because he also went after me a couple of times. I didn't like it. And I mean this sincerely. Had he been allowed to enter the Democrat primary, he would have easily beaten Joe Biden, but they wouldn't let him in. They put up rules. I've never seen rules like you had to have 65% of the vote in order to run, you know, little things like that. His candidacy has inspired millions and millions of Americans, raised critical issues that have been too long ignored in this country, and brought together people from across the political spectrum in a positive campaign grounded in the American values of his father, Robert Kennedy, a great man, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. And I know that they are looking down right now, and they are very, very proud of Bobby. I'm proud of Bobby. You want to know the truth? And I don't think I've ever introduced anyone that got applause like he just got. I must tell you, I don't think it's true. I don't think I've ever introduced anybody that got applause like that. Amazing. Still. Amazing. Soon after I can't even believe I have to say this, nearly assassinated in Pennsylvania last month, Bobby called me to express his best wishes. He knows firsthand the risks incurred by leaders who stand up to the corrupt political establishment. When you stand up, you bring on some trouble for yourself, but you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right for the country. I will tell you, we are both in this to do what's right for the country. That's one thing
right.
I can tell you.
Yeah, I believe that.
I
believe
do
that.
too.
Yeah.
He lost his father and uncle in service to our country, and Bobby himself was subject to repeated threats to his safety during the course of his campaign while being denied protection by the Harris-Biden administration.
That was crazy. Denied protection.
And this is
That's
a tribute
awful.
in honor of Bobby. I am announcing tonight that upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And they will also conduct a rigorous review of the attack last month. But I tell you, I have never had more people ask me, please, sir, release the documents on the Kennedy assassination. And
Yep.
we're going to do that.
I agree with that. He should have
And I
released it all
also
the
want to
first
salute
time.
Bobby's
That's right.
decades of work as an advocate for
Like,
the
I hate
health
when
of
they
our
do it.
families and
They
our
half-ass
children.
it.
Nobody's done more. Millions and millions of Americans who want clean air, clean water, and a healthy nation have concerns about toxins in our environment and pesticides in our food.
Yep.
That's why today I'm repeating
Yeah,
my
release the
pledge to
Epstein
establish
files.
a panel
Yes.
of top
Yeah.
experts
I
working
agree.
with
I
Bobby to
agree.
investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more. We want every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life. So I just want to ask Bobby to speak for a little while. I'll stand aside. I'm going to stand aside. But I can only tell you, I've known him a long time. We've been a little bit on the opposite side of the equation.
I don't
but
think
I will
the
say this: he is a
Thrifty
brilliant.
Treasure. They're
I
probably
still think
trying
of
to
him as
get
young. He's not that young.
the song
I always call him
royalties.
young, but
You
he's
know,
not that
that whole
young.
thing is still up in
But
the
he is
air.
a
That
phenomenal
thing's
person, a
been
phenomenal
it's not gone to
man
court,
who loves
so
the people of this country
we
as
don't
much
know.
as anybody can love the people of
Right,
this
because
country.
I think
most of these
that's
artists
So,
don't
Bobby,
own the
please say
music
a
that
few
they
words.
have. It's a company that owns it.
Yeah, and yeah, they might be trying to do what you're saying, Thrifty Treasure, but it's not gone
Thank
to court
you.
or anything yet. So
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you. A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes
yes,
later,
they
I got a
may
call
have
from
the
the
rights to the
president.
song, but
And we talked. We
the
had a
fact
very
that there's some things being thrown out there about
When I first joined
we've got a commercial there.
And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went to Minneapolis.
Never mind, I don't want to
and saw
interrupt
him.
Jay.
We met again
RFK.
a couple of weeks later in Florida. And we talked about, not about the things that separate us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together. And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic.
Yes. This is what I'm passionate about right here.
Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children?
Yes.
And don't you want the chemicals out of our food?
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption?
Yes. Yep.
And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted. He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's
Exactly.
right.
And the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this
Right.
country.
Yes.
And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country?
Yes.
And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information.
Right.
And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys. Because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms?
Governing body would say only God will fix these problems. You know what I
Right.
say, Ruby? Bullshit.
And
They have the power to
who's
do it
gonna
and they don't
protect
do it.
us against totalitarianism.
God is not going to solve these problems. Sorry.
Right.
And I want to ask you again, don't you want a safe environment for your children?
Yes.
Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease?
Exactly. All the food coloring, artificial flavoring, that's poison.
Yes.
And don't you
Ultra
want a
processed
president
crap.
that's going to make America healthy again?
Make America healthy again.
What do they call that? Maha?
Thank you all very, very much.
Yep.
God bless you and God bless America.
Woo!
That
Good
was
job.
pretty nice. In a
Awesome.
nutshell, that's what RFK Jr. is about.
Yes. Yes. So I've got some notes here on his speech. I don't know if you're ready to go there yet, but his speech that RFK gave, when he was basically stepping down is the right word, but and supporting
I was
Trump.
going to ask you about that because he said he wasn't going to end his campaign because his name is on the ballot on some of the states.
He's still on the ballot in some states,
Right.
certain states. Yeah. It's kind of strategic the way he did it.
I know, right? It's a little weird. So is he still running for president or is he not? Can you still vote for him? And if you are in a state that you can vote for him, would you vote for him? Like, wouldn't you just vote for Trump because it's like he's already endorsed Trump?
Somebody said suspended his campaign. That's probably like the term maybe he used. Yeah, something along those lines. Something along those lines. But I'm telling you, yeah, this guy speaks my language. He stands for everything. His most passionate things he stands for is what I stand for. And I wanted to say that I think Trump, he's catching up. He's catching up to some of this. I think in his first term, I'm going to say I loved him in his first term. Loved him. I love his raw candor. I don't care that he steps on some people's toes sometimes. I think he's a real person, and that's why people do like him. Some people don't like him because of it too. But Trump has come a long way since he was in office. He is waking up, you could say. He's waking up to some of these critical issues. He's voiced it, and I'm so proud of him. I'm more behind him than ever because of it. RFK says that the Democratic Party became the opposite of what it was. Would you agree, Ruby?
Say that
no?
phrase. Say the quote again.
RFK during his speech said, not this one that we just watched, but the one of him supporting Trump. He said that the Democratic Party became the opposite of what it once was.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And then he says it became the party of war. Okay, the Democrats said they used to be like totally against war.
Right.
This is what's mind blowing. Like me growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like yeah, they were like used to be against war. Now they're for war, for censorship, and corruption. They're for these are things RFK was saying. They've become a party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big agriculture instead of small farmers, and big money, and that it has abandoned democracy. So he left to become an independent.
Yes, and you know what? If Lucy if she's watching this, or if she's in the chat, or she sees this in the future, Lucy would definitely agree with everything you just said, because now that I see how Lucy has been open with like her political leanings as well. She's more of like the Green Party, and she would vote for Jill Stein, and that's kind of this along the same lines of what you just said. And it's like green, it's like about the planet, it's about peace, it's about a lot of the things that you can definitely see the difference between all parties. You don't really see that in the Democrats anymore. You see it in third parties.
Right. Right. Okay. So then he said in his speech that democracy is still alive at the grassroots. I 100% agree with that. Democracy is very much alive at the grassroots level, though. Unfortunately, it's become little more than a slogan. This is RFK's words. Little more than a slogan for our political institutions, for our media and government, and the Democratic Party. I have to agree.
I agree as well. And this is a thing that people don't really get, is that we are really not a democracy, we're a republic, but we function as a democracy. But we are voting for our representatives to represent us. So that's the person who you really need to be voting for, is local, because those people are going to go to Washington, D.C. and vote on your behalf. And then the government functions the way it should. But that's a republic. So that's why when you said democracy at grassroots level, yes,
Grassroots level. Mm-hmm.
that's how it should be. That's how it should be in America. And so that's how we have been functioning. But I have not seen that system function the way it's supposed to be for a really long time. For like the last 10 years, I feel like we've been oppressed for different reasons.
Yeah.
With the C-19, with the mandates, with censorship on Twitter, until Elon bought it, and it literally had to take a billionaire to save free speech on the internet. Like before any of that stuff, you could say whatever you want on Twitter and it didn't matter. So
That's
for like
right.
Gen Z and like my generation of millennials that were online, we felt that. We got the suspensions. We got our accounts deleted and removed. Even Jimmy Bell got removed from Facebook a dozen times, and they permanently deleted his account.
What?
Now. Yeah.
No
and
kidding.
then I told him, just go to Twitter, go to X, because it's free there now.
I just opened an account there, but I haven't posted anything yet. I gotta, I'm so like, it's like foreign to me. Okay, then the DNC, he said, waged continual warfare against President Trump and himself. And I think we've all seen that. We've all seen that happen. Then here's an interesting thing. Biden accused Putin of doing the same things the Democrats are doing here, controlling the press, preventing opponents of appearing on the ballot. That's what they were doing to RFK. All of the major news outlets, they only gave RFK 2 live interviews, as opposed to, I forget what the guy's name was he mentioned in like another election or some I don't for who. It's like they gave him like 67 like interviews or something. He got 2 interviews. RFK got 2 interviews on the major news outlets. That's a problem.
Right. But then I was watching those freedom and equal debates that Lucy sent me on Discord, and I'll share it with you and for the rest of the chat as well. But it was like all the third party presidential candidates that haven't been having airtime, that don't go to the regular debates. It's always Dems, Democrats, and Republicans. They never show the other 5 people that are running for president. Why don't they ever do that? So freedom and equal elections, I think it was like a Freedom Fest 2024, they did a debate. And that's when I finally got to know who Chase Oliver was for Libertarian, who Jill Stein was for Green Party, Randall Terry for Constitutionalist. And then RFK Jr. would have been there to represent the Independent Party, but nobody came to that debate for the Independent Party. And his reasoning for that was they said that, why would I go to a debate where I agree with majority of what the people are on stage already? So he was like, I'm not going to debate my friends because we all really agree on stuff. He wants to be on the big boy debate, with the Republicans and the Democrats, because that's what we should be challenging. We shouldn't be, debating each other when we already agree on something. We should be debating people who you disagree with, right? That's what a whole debate is about. Going back and forth on ideas. And exactly. I mean, I wish he would have done it, but he didn't go, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, they denied, I have somewhere here in my notes, they denied RFK, debate. That is not fair. That is not fair. It's awful. Those networks also did multiple hit pieces, often vile, and they participated in keeping RFK off, like we're just saying right now, off the debate stage. That is just shocking. Like, this is not the world I grew up in. It's gotten so like hardcore cutthroat that it's not democratic at all.
Right.
It's going against he's right. Everything that party, the Democrats, used to stand for and fight so hard for, they've just like thrown it out the window. Seriously. Yep. It's shocking.
I think they're bought for, though. Like that's why they want to like make the big PACs and things like that. They want to make it illegal so that there's no big money, dark money that you don't know where it's going. All these PACs that they could donate to that, but then they can't donate to the regular campaign because it's either too much money or they have different caps and stuff like that, like restrictions. So they have these PACs. They put dark money in there. You don't know how much, you don't know where it's coming from. And then they buy out the politician to, bring them into office. And I hate all of it. I'm like, yeah, we should get rid of that completely. It should be people donating, grassroots donations to put that politician in.
I'm all for the grassroots movement. Should be
all of them on the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Mainstream media denied him a critical platform, he says, and I agree. And then here's a quote that he said in his speech. Hey, they fear the truth, and that's what they censor. So I'm sorry, but I do agree with that.
No, it's true. I got suspended from Twitter as well when the Hunter Biden laptop information came out. A lot of people were DMing me. They're like, you have enough followers, you should post this. But just remember that you'll probably get taken down. I said, Okay. You felt like a little digital soldier because you were
That
like,
was before Elon
yes,
bought
that
it.
was before Elon. Yeah. But that's why I totally like understand and relate to Jimmy, because I felt like that. You feel like a digital soldier because you're going out there, you're posting something that you know is gonna get you, you know,
Oh,
off the
well,
platform.
yeah, exactly. My stance on the whole C-19 thing and health worry of everything is what got me crushed in the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, when
Exactly.
basically it reminds me of what happened of the censorship that went on within the Jehovah's Witnesses when two elders showed up at my door. I mean, and my then
Because of the things
husband,
you
my then
posted.
husband made sure, you know, he said, no, we don't need you to come. And finally, after them bugging us enough, he said, okay, one of you can come. But of course, they brought two. And then he said, and you can only come with beer. And they did. They came with beer, and we sat outside, and they basically told me, look, you can feel however you want. This other elder, he hasn't taken the thing either, and but he keeps his mouth shut, and that's what you need to do.
Right.
Basically what they told me. Censored. That's called censorship.
Wow. Exactly. Nobody should tell you. That's nobody's business what you post on your social media.
Even though I did explain to them, I'm like, look, you don't understand. I have a lot of people private messaging me, direct messaging me, DMing me, thanking me for my posts about everything, and saying that they don't feel like they have a voice, that they've had friends for a long time that won't even hang out with them because they haven't taken the thing. And you know, and now it's all okay. Now everybody's like reconnected, but they sure treated, you know, certain people like shit, at like, you know, so unchristian, and
Yep.
who didn't take the thing. And so again, it's censorship, and that's kind of is what woke me up. And that's why I'm so passionate about the subject of censorship in general. You know, even if you're posting something I don't like or I don't agree with, well,
Right.
good for you, whatever. You know, I mean,
But
as
you
long
should
as it
have the
doesn't
right to
affect
do
me,
that, though.
you have the right to do that. It's called freedom
Right.
of speech.
Right. Exactly.
And when you lose the freedom of speech, that's where there's a big problem. So everybody should be able to voice their opinion. So, okay, so moving on to my notes here. He did say that he was flourishing within alternative media. And again, I think that would go back to the grassroots thing that we were talking about, because you know, I think the main people, I mean, a huge majority of people in the United States, they don't lean all the way right, like crazy woke people, you know, like they don't lean that like far left. And even though I'm pointing to my right, I just realized, and they're not leaning all the way to the right either. You know, like I think the majority of citizens are somewhere in the middle. I absolutely believe that.
Right. They are. They are. I see that. I see that now since I've moved. Like I've seen myself move more right wing, and then some people would consider me far right. I'm like, yeah, you're right, because everybody who I come into contact with in real life, on the internet, you know, wherever, they are all moderate until you start having these conversations and they say, I tell King Tony, well, let me take it a step further. And then she'll say a different subject, and I'm like, okay,
moderate
I
is a
agree.
great term. You use the word moderate. That's a great term, Ruby. I believe the
they're
majority
moderate,
of people are moderate. You know, like
or they're centered. They're centered.
If you do any kind of traveling around or anything, I'm sorry, people aren't fighting over racial things. on
Right, they're
your
not.
street corners or in the stores, or
Mhm.
they're not, they have very moderate beliefs and views and opinions on things in general. Like basically, like let's just put it out there, the transgender thing. I don't care if you want to be transgender. Great.
Right.
I don't care. Go ahead. But I'm not going to let you. I don't believe in allowing children whose brains are not even developed. We know that the brain is not completely developed now. Science has told us the brain is not completely developed until the mid-20s. So you cannot drink till you're 21. You can't smoke cigarettes till you're 18. Let's not. And kids go through little kind of changing things in their mind as they're growing up.
Yeah.
So let's not make it normal or okay to mutilate your body parts at such a young age. That is so freaking wrong. It's so freaking wrong. And I will not allow anybody to force it down my throat, and I will not allow it to be normal. That is not normal thinking. And I'm telling you, whoops, just hit my microphone, getting carried away. I will not. I'm telling you, the majority of people do not think that is normal. It's not.
Right.
Again, if you want to be transgender later, like that's for you
as an adult.
That's fine. It's because it's not going to affect my life. I don't care. Go live your life doing that. I don't care.
That's where you're
I'll support you.
Right.
Whatever. But
right.
It's when you're affecting children and developing children and children that are still developing mentally. That's where I have the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's I liked when, I think it was last night that Gigi and Jesse were on live and they were talking about basketball or whatever, and Jesse was saying, remember when they politicized a handshake? Remember when they politicized wearing a mask? And even and even a step further, remember when they politicized a red hat, like a piece of clothing? They politicized. So it's not us. It's not the average everyday person that is making divisions amongst each other. It's them. It's either the party or whoever. Like who is behind the closed doors pushing this narrative on TV, in commercials, in movies, Disney, Hollywood? Why?
That's a good point. I was wanting to get at too. Yes, that the powers that be are the ones trying, and I don't know why. I mean, I have some theories, but they're trying to divide people, when in actuality there's not as much division as you would think.
I believe that.
There is some division, but not as much as you would think. It's but they try to highlight the parties that are divided and are different thinking, but it's like the minuscule people, it's like a little tiny group over here and a little tiny group over here who mean nothing in the real world, in the they have no power.
Exactly right.
They have no power in the real world. These tiny little groups have no power, but the media will like highlight those tiny little groups to make it seem like, oh my God, we're so divided. It's so awful. And Jehovah's Witnesses, this is such a great topic to tie it all together with this XJW thing, because the witnesses, they do the same thing. They divide people. In fact, I told the elders that came to my door, came to my house about things, and they were trying to say I was, dividing people or I wasn't contributing to unity. I said, whoa, wait a minute. The governing body is the one that are saying these things, are pushing certain medical things. And I was like, no, I'm the one. They're the ones dividing people. They are the ones dividing people. On top of that, the governing body, all they do is focus on, if you go to their website every day, they're focused on all the negative, all the negative, all the negative, all the negative. You know, they're contributing to dividing people instead of bringing love and peace into the world.
Right. But then you find out that they do have a hidden agenda. They do have stock in Pfizer. They do have all of these things. But you don't know that as a regular Jehovah's Witness. Just the same thing as you wouldn't know that in a political party. You don't know what their real agenda is. You can read between the lines and see through their platform, through what they say. But if you're not that really educated enough to let yourself dive into a conspiracy theory or like a rabbit hole, you're never going to get there. You're going to believe all the surface level talking points because they wouldn't do that. The government wouldn't do that. I used to be like that until I started realizing, oh no, they don't care about us.
That's right.
I mean, nobody really cares about you except yourself. So if it's not like me doing it, like me meeting the person, talking to you, that's when I can put a little bit of trust and confidence. And I'm like, okay, this is a good guy, or this is a good politician, despite it, not everybody tells the truth. But then when you find out, oh, they got money from here, they got stock in here, they want to make money. Everything always boils down to money.
Money. And then did you see the thing? I think Lloyd Evans' channel just highlighted it. How they've got all this new financial accounts they just opened in Ireland.
I've heard about that, but I hear about those things through Twitter. So a lot of my news
crazy. If you haven't heard about it, the audience, I would definitely look into that. That there's all these accounts, I think it is. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but that they've just opened up in Ireland, and it's people do that to like hide money and stuff.
Exactly.
It's an interesting topic, but yeah,
we gotta do a video on that. It has to be a video where we dive into all three companies, because I think there's three of them. And then they have a whirly guy who just entered their board of directors or something like that, because there's a lot of money involved, because it's the assets. It's not the cash. It's the assets that are in the billions of dollars. So they need somebody to manage that. And you're just moving money around. You're just selling things here, selling things there, buying things here. You're just shuffling the money around. It's shady. It's sketchy. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Yeah. Because, here's the thing. They tell the average rank and file Jehovah's Witness to stay. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but we're going to get back on topic here. But they tell the average rank and file to, keep life simple and, live. I don't want to say live poor necessarily, but, kind of
minimalistic lifestyle.
Because the end is coming and you just need to serve us and give all your money to us and, all that. But yet they're planning for the future, and they're reinvesting, and oh my God, they do tons of investing, and they do tons of this and that. But they're not encouraging their followers to do that. So, all right, I'm going to get back on topic, Ruby. He also said RFK said in his speech, he did not feel in his heart he had a realistic path to victory in the face of this electoral, I might be saying it wrong, relentless censorship and media control. And I'm going to say I think he was right. I was probably going to vote, even though I loved him, I was probably going to go ahead and vote for Trump because I didn't think he could win because of the censorship and, media control of him. So I have to say he had to, oh my God, it took so much humility on his part to do what he did.
Right.
And I think that's admirable. And we're going to get a little bit more into that in a minute here. Another point, he said by staying on the ballots, he would be handing the election over to the Democrats with whom he disagrees with the most essential issues: censorship, war, and chronic disease. That administration did nothing for those issues. These are the same issues back when I was a kid that the Democratic Party was all gung-ho for.
Yeah.
And they have done, this administration and even some of the past ones, I'm sorry to say, Democratic ones, did nothing for censorship, war, and chronic disease. So
Yep.
that is and then he says that's what made him get behind Trump. He did agree. He did admit that, he didn't agree with some things in a lot of things in his Trump's first administration.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he necessarily agrees with like 100% of this time around. But as I said, Trump has really come a long way in learning about all this stuff we're talking about. And he's woke up. He has started to wake up to it all. And that's why RFK is backing him and endorsing him, is because he sees that Trump has woke up to some of these vital issues that are so important and really the vital future for our children and our children's future. So, let's see. The other thing he said, Ukraine is a proxy in a geopolitical struggle. They are being used in a political struggle, basically. And that's why he's against the whole Ukraine war. And I would encourage anybody to look into about that. I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to give my, 2 cents about that too much, because but I know enough to know that that's true. And I agree with what he said about it, about the Ukraine war.
Oh yeah, no, that's listen, my foreign policy is like 0. I think we should be focusing on ourselves. But going back to what you said about he didn't think he was going to win. That's every third party. They never let anybody else win. I want to break the cycle of this 2-party system. And I'm seriously considering advocating more for that. Don't feel like you have to stay within the blue and the red box. There are other options. You can write a name in if the person's name is not there. Because even with Trump, I do agree he probably learned his lesson. He probably didn't think they were going to go after him the way that they did. They're getting daring. They're doing things that they've never done before. They are setting a precedent that we have never seen before. Like, we have never seen a president get arrested, have a mugshot. That was history. We've never seen a president get convicted in a state level. We've never seen a former president go through what Trump went through. And when those things were happening, we were literally having heart attacks. And since I'm homeschooling and those things were happening, that's a learning experience for them. This is like a once in a lifetime thing. Who knows if we're ever going to see another president go through what this man went through? It's just we were a part of history.
That goes back to what RFK said. He said the DNC waged continual warfare against President Trump and himself, dragging them both through court, trying to keep RFK off the ballots. I mean, they did everything they could possibly do. It is crazy. And like he said, RFK said, Biden was accusing Putin of doing the same thing they're doing here in the United States. It's crazy. It is crazy. Oh my God.
Yep. I actually printed out the mugshot. Like, that's how historical it was. Like, I literally used that. Like, I have his picture right up on the wall right there. We look at it every single day. And that's a reminder of how far we can fall if we let this continue. And unfortunately, it is the Democratic Party. Like, if it was the other way around, I would be saying the same thing. Like, I'm not biased. I'm not trying to say that this one is better than the other. But no, when we're looking at policy and we're diving deep and doing our research, we see how far they are willing to go. And then the Uniparty doesn't allow the other side's voice to actually be heard. Like Thomas Macy said in that debate of the Freedom Fest, he was like, they do exist. There's so many different factions within the party because not everybody is a Republican, but they have to register as a Republican to even get a seat, to even get into office.
Yeah, that was interesting. I did not know that. That is crazy. I did not even know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the spectrum of how they really feel is there. You're going to see those different factions, but they don't speak up because they know that they will probably get they won't get re-election, or they won't get the bill passed that they've been trying to write. So you're always putting up a face and you're not really saying how you really feel, like the way we would. So even for them, if you put yourself in their shoes, they got to stay quiet as well at the end of the day if they want to progress in whatever agenda they have. Like, not everything is bad and evil. They just got to be quiet and do it just another way, because that's how oppressive even Congress is. Like, once you start realizing those things, now it's like you have a little bit more understanding, you know, like you feel like, oh, that sucks. Like, I really do want the third party. But like I told King Tony, the only real change you're going to see is if everybody doesn't vote and we crash the system, because what's going to happen? The Electoral College is going to have to do all the work. And then it's going to start looking like we are a authoritarian government to the world. So then they will be forced to make changes. Or we have the majority of Americans that vote third party and we split the vote. But then we run the risk of Democrats getting into office. So it's like you go through all these scenarios, but deep down in my heart, I'm like, I think I'm gonna vote third party. Like, I think I'm just gonna be honest.
It is
and
somewhat of
switch
a
my vote.
It's very somewhat of a numbers game. Unfortunately. Should we read some of the comments before we move on? Let's see.
Okay. This one comment from Deborah. She says, Ruby, Steph, don't you agree that before our eyes we're seeing the destruction of both parties? An American First Party seems to be forming.
Yeah. I would say absolutely. Yeah.
I am America First, though, and I don't mean that in terms of like Nick Fuentes, because that's where it came from. It originated from this guy, and he's controversial within himself. I'm not gonna get into that, but what he talks about is that American First types of policies, that we should be putting our issues at hand first. We shouldn't be voting in these people who are allying themselves with other countries who don't even respect the Western values that we have. So why are we being an ally to these European countries and they are arresting people over a Facebook post? Like, what is that?
Oh,
why
yeah,
are we?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, and then if you do say that, it could sound extreme. It could sound like, oh, we're not an isolationist. You really can't think that way. And I'm like, by the way this is going, I can see us pulling away from the rest of the world until we fix what we gotta fix, and then we can probably have another treaty or something else that's brand new. Because what we got right now, I'm sorry, it's just not working.
John says North Carolina ballots are being delayed as news reports now. Ooh,
Yeah,
not
they're gonna
surprising.
start. They're
Not
gonna start.
surprising.
Yeah, this is election season, and in the season, you are going to see a lot of bull crap happening, like they did in 2020. Oh, a pipe burst. Oh, we had to stop the count. Oh, we had to pick it up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, what? Where are we? What is going on here? And that's when I knew. I said, oh, forget about it. This is rigged. I don't forget about it. Like, I'm not gonna even get upset. Like, I should have known better. You know, like you kind of felt like you got duped again. And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, but until something happens that is not falling on the voter, right? Like until
Yeah.
something happens between the federal or the state level where these people are actually incarcerated, then I will have trust in our elections. Then I will have trust in participating again. But we don't see anybody so far that's getting arrested. Like it's just, it's horrible.
I'm going to move on, if you don't mind.
Yep. Go ahead.
So some of the things that RFK Jr. mentioned in his speech that were important to him, important issues, and I will say they're important to me as well. Chronic disease, childhood disease, the childhood disease epidemic. We've never seen this many, kids with so much chronic disease. And you could go on and on about autism, and he goes into more of that. I'm just sort of skimming the, top of what he said. Securing the border.
Yep.
Ending forever wars. When has the Democratic Party, they used to be against war. I've said that in the beginning here. So he's for ending forever wars. So is Trump. There was no wars going on when Trump was in.
He didn't start any,
power.
but he
didn't
ended
start
some.
any anyway.
Yep.
He didn't start any. Yeah. Freedom of speech. Again, the Democrats used to be totally for that. Getting the U.S. intelligence agencies out of the business of propaganda and censoring and surveilling Americans and interfering with our elections. On the last election, there was definitely proof of, that there was interference with it. Well, and also even on this election, there's proof. When you're censoring people, you're not letting them get on the debate stage. You're not letting them be interviewed on mainstream media. That's interfering with the elections. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to agree with him on that. I'm going to go on to the next point that he brought out. And this is really hits home for me. This is a passion for me. We spend more on healthcare than any other country. Twice what they pay in Europe. And yet we have the worst outcomes.
Yeah.
No one has a chronic health epidemic like we do. This is what he says. And that is what the science is coming out to say. I mean, these reports and stuff. And I just think we can't talk about it enough. And that is actually one thing he said. Why are we not talking about this like every freaking day on the news? Why is this being suppressed? We need to be talking about this, and something needs to be done. And he actually gave, I don't know if I have it all written down, but if you watch that, his speech, he actually gives some answers to how to fix this stuff and how him teaming up with Trump is going to address these things. They do have some solutions. They have some solutions for it.
Right.
And I so love that. We're already at it like an hour 19. So I'm going to keep going if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
We had he says we had the most amount of COVID deaths per capita, and that the CDC said it's because we are the unhealthiest people pretty much on earth.
Yeah, our food is banned in Europe and European countries.
That
should tell you everything you need to know.
That's right. I mean, that is so sad. Here we're supposed to be like the most powerful people or country, and yet we're the unhealthiest. And trust me, that will come to bite us in the butt.
Yep.
That will come to bite us in the butt, because if we're the unhealthiest, your army's going to be the unhealthiest. And and he did say, like, there's so many people and young ones that do not even qualify to be in the in the military because we're so unhealthy. So that's leaving us defenseless.
Yeah.
That's
And they
leaving us
out most of the
defenseless.
good soldiers because if they didn't take the C-19 formula in their arm, they kicked you out of the army. And there was a lot of people who got kicked out.
Yeah. I saw somewhere, I don't know what it were, but they're going to be, the Trump administration is going to be like, hey, any of the military that
Yes.
got pushed out for not taking that jab, they're going to reinstate them and reinstate all their benefits and all the
because they were
even the
dishonorably
money
charged.
they lost and everything is what I read or saw or something. Yeah. Oh my god. So I'm really proud of that. That's awesome. I'm going to keep moving on. I have just a couple more things and then we can kind of wrap it up. So we're talking about the health issues of Americans and that the problem is ultra processed foods, seed oils, and then the toxic chemicals and pesticides, all of which are hormone disruptors and estrogen producing crap. He didn't use the word crap. I'm using the word crap.
Right.
But yeah, so ultra processed foods, seed oils, and toxic chemicals and pesticides and all that are in the air, are in the food, in the water, and they're all hormone disrupting, estrogen producing crap. And so that's why, here's my very last point, and that is why not only are we having a chronic health disease problem in adults and children, but we're also in children, we're earlier, the puberty, when kids are going into puberty are earlier than they've ever been. And our children in the United States are going into puberty earlier than anybody else on earth. And they are now starting 6 years earlier than previous years. I forget how long back he went, but like not even that long ago. They're starting between 8 and
no way
12 or 13 or something like that, which
I've
is like
never heard of that.
Years younger than they used to. Yeah. And so thankfully that's the end of my notes, but thankfully with those two, with RFK Jr. and Trump teaming up, we will see if hopefully they get elected and Trump's not assassinated before it's all said and done.
God, I know I'm praying for him to make it to November because I'm like, I don't know what's worse. What's worse than that? You know what I mean? Like, we've already seen it attempt. You know, like, I've never seen that in my life before. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that I have never seen in my life, and I'm only 28, and this is happening while I'm just 28. Imagine,
you're a baby.
50 years from now.
You're a baby.
I know, but I'm like, if it's already heavy
I'm glad
now,
you woke up at such a young age. Yeah.
Oh, me too, because I would have not known how to handle that if I was still brainwashed or indoctrinated or whatever, like, but now that I'm somewhat awake and then I'm waking up to the political world, it's like I could handle it a little bit better now. But what you were talking about, the seed oils and like the stuff about the food, that's all processed foods. And that's what America has moved on, because they don't even incentivize the farmers anymore. So you're not getting real food, or real food may be more expensive than the processed foods. So Americans are not cooking anymore. They're just popping it in the microwave and they feed their kids the same frozen food or processed foods. They're not cooking
or they're eating
anymore.
out a lot, or they're eating out a lot.
Eating in restaurants.
Anybody that knows me knows I love to cook, and I'm I'm even trying to get cleaner all the time. Like I'm not perfect at, but in the last
Exactly.
year, I've even gotten even more cleaner on my eating.
Right.
And I'm trying to, like, I don't even rarely have a sandwich just because I don't want the processed bread, like I'm not like
Right.
bread free or anything. I'm not crazy, but I don't even saute anymore for the most part. I mean, maybe it depends on what it is. I found that you don't even need to saute your vegetables and garlic and stuff in oils, even good oils like olive oil or avocado oil. I mean, I still have those things in my house, but you can saute in like water, a little bit of water. Like it's crazy how much you do not need this stuff and how much healthier you'll be for it. So I do eat out. I do eat out sometimes, but if anybody that knows me, I do try to eat pretty healthy, and it's a passion of mine. So, but I'm not.
It's a lifestyle change because you have to literally change everything, the way you eat, the way you shop, and like I've had to make that change. Bake at home, cook at home, change your whole lifestyle.
A lot. And you don't have to be perfect. Like you can have a treat now and then, or I'll go out, and have a burger sometimes, or I mean, I do prefer a homemade burger, but because they're healthier, but I eat stuff out sometimes. Like it's about balance, but when you really, and I do spend the extra money on organic. I 100% believe in doing that because I'm investing in my health.
Exactly.
And that's the most important thing. There's things I will rather give up in my life to afford to eat really clean. So yeah, and I'd rather do that than get cancer down the road or
Exactly. That's the thing, though. It's the regulations because the FDA is supposed to protect and screen these things, and they're just letting it go through. There's nothing in place to stop the poison from getting into your food. So we need to change that, or maybe abolish it. Like it should. I don't know what the solution is. I'm probably gonna have to watch that speech if RFK, gave a solution. But that's where the term soy boy comes from because it's the soy ingredient in all of these things that, like you said, estrogen. It's a hormonal. It disrupts the hormone. So all these. That's the reason why the generation,
all the chemicals and like drinking bottled water that comes in plastic containers. That's leaching all the plastic into it. Oh my God, that's so disrupting your hormones in men and women both. Like that's why testosterone levels have dropped drastically in the United States. It's so sad. That's why there's infertility problems and
exactly.
And people have to be in Viagra and stuff now when they didn't used to, because the testosterone has dropped so much. I mean, testosterone naturally drops a little bit, as men grow older, and I think women too, even because we do have some, but it's dropped drastically in the last few years, and it's because of all these toxins and chemicals. And I would encourage people not to drink bottled water if you can. I mean, I once in a great while, when I'm in a pinch, I'm somewhere and I have no water, somebody gives me a plastic bottle of water, I'll freaking drink it. But normally I try not to, I try to bring my own water and in a glass container or stainless steel or something. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how you need to be aware of these things because I don't know. I personally, I want to live a long life, especially because I just woke up from the organization. I have so much living to do. Exactly. But I want to be healthy. I want to be. My goal is to live to 100, but I don't want to be like a fragile, unhealthy 100-year-old. You know, I want to
Exactly.
go be 100 and then boom, maybe my heart stops or something, you know.
Yes, we are
I,
live,
I
Keith.
want to be
I mean, I put a link
oh
at the
yeah.
chat if anybody wanted to join us. I don't know how much time you have, Steph, but if anybody wanted to join, there's a link at the top of the chat.
Sure, yeah, I
Um,
can stay on a little longer.
yes. I
Not a
don't know
lot
where my
longer, but
cousin
maybe
went.
like 30 more minutes or something.
Yep. Jennifer says that she won't allow her kids flu shots. They told me my son will
No,
be
I've never
fine.
had one either.
Yep.
I
Me
would not
neither.
recommend those.
Yeah, I don't
San
take any
Diego
at all.
Pimo. He's on there too.
Yeah, San Diego's back.
Yep. That's my friend.
Yes. I mean, are you on the Discord, Steph?
I'm not. Are you?
Oh, yes. We have great times at the Discord. We play poker, we play games.
Oh wow.
We do we had a watch party and we watched a documentary together, and it's like you could do video
Oh fun.
or voice. Yeah, I'm gonna send
Yeah.
you an invite.
Yeah, do. My life's been a
Okay.
little crazy lately, I'll have to admit. So been going through a
Yep.
lot in my personal life, but so
Mhm.
but I would love to, throw me a invite.
Oh, what am I doing? Okay. I'm gonna put in the private chat the Discord link, and then you can navigate your way through there, and then like you have to answer a couple of questions. And San Diego was there. Yeah, it was really fun to watch party.
Oh, he was there too. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we had a face reveal. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
yes, and we were all just hanging out on Discord. There's so much more you can do. You could do phone calls on there, video chats on there. You could watch even YouTube videos together. You could listen to music together, but it's so much more like
Oh,
connected. Yeah, so much
interesting.
more.
I didn't know that.
Yep, I'm usually playing on there almost every night because I told Tony, get on Discord, let's play games, let's just talk and everything. So while we're in the digital like poker table, you turn on your voice and we're talking about everything, like not everything has to be on YouTube, but we just talk about just different things on the poker table. And I was like, this is such a great time to, like, whoever wants to join us, we teach them how to play the game and then we talk about something interesting. Oh, hello,
That's
Jay.
awesome.
And everybody's on there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like 100+ people. And
Oh
they have,
wow, that's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. And you have like the
Dang.
creator content on like the left-hand side. So we have like MJ, Karen, Saunders, Vern, I'm on there. And like apostate something. I already there's a couple of us that are on there. And then within your tab, you can like share, oh, I have this video coming out, or let's collab on this. It's like so much easier to like instant message.
Oh cool. Oh cool. Love it. Love it.
We got Mr. M. Hello, Mr. M. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, so I guess we covered most of everything,
I think
and
so. Yeah,
I'm
we
so
did
happy that
good. I think we covered this subject really good.
well, you did. Thankfully you took notes and you came ready, because I was like, you know what? I really do want to give RFK the time and attention, because they took my video down the last time.
Wow.
And then yeah,
Wow. Can't believe that.
I couldn't even find it in the studio, like the YouTube studio, so I could at
What?
least, yeah, like I can't even see what the strike was. So
Wow.
they completely wiped it, and I'm like, damn, because like when you do a live, nothing is scripted. So I watch my lives again so I could see what the heck I said, right? I can't even know what I said. Like I can't even remember how did the conversation end up there. You know what I'm saying? That so I could learn my lesson with YouTube regulations. So yeah, it's completely gone.
Oh my
So
god, that's crazy. Again, censorship. Yeah.
exactly. Because of
Wow.
RFK Jr. and the things that he was saying on the stage and how we were relating to that. So I was like, I'm gonna have to do our RFK some justice and bring up bring up his speech again. And then I said, oh, Steph is the perfect person because you said last time you liked him, you loved him. And I was like, I've never heard of an RFK supporter. I'm going to have to talk to one.
Oh
So
my
I'm
God.
so glad that you did it with me.
I'm so honored that you asked me to come on. Oh my gosh. I think this administration is going to be amazing. Like them. Sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. Sorry. I get so excited. Them teaming up is like
Right.
crazy, amazing. I think it's going to, yeah, it's
right. Because he's a lifelong Democrat that finally went across lines to the Republican.
I feel like we need some powerhouses. The administration right now is just, I feel like, weak, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I see them as very weak and dark energy, and we need some real men. I mean, even if it was a woman saying the same things they are, I'm not against,
right.
love women. I'm all for women power too, but they happen to be men, and we need some real male energy that are gonna like make some things happen.
Right.
I don't see Kamala, or however you say her name, I don't see her having, she's really like said, oh, I'm going to be doing this and this and that, and nothing. I haven't seen anything from her that would be like that I could get behind, any policies or things that are passionate to me that I could get behind. Absolutely zero, actually. She has said zero things I could get behind. So that's why I'm so excited about the Trump, Kennedy, Vance group.
Alliance.
And Tucker Carlson's behind it. Elon's behind it.
That's real unity to me, though. That's real unity. When somebody,
other one, what's the other woman's name? She's behind it. So we've got Trump, Vance, Kennedy. What's her name? Oh, somebody should tell me in the comments.
Tulsi
Gabbard.
Yeah. Vivek.
And then Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson. I mean, it's like it is like the
Tulsi
best
Gabbard.
group
I like her.
For like boom, 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 right there. Yeah.
That's real unity, in my opinion. It's when two people who know that they disagree with each other, but one is humble enough to accept the fact that he's not going to win the presidency. So you might as well join them. If you can't beat them, join them. And having RFK Jr. with the Make America Healthy Again, he's the perfect person.
Make America Healthy Again. I'm so for that. And for Jehovah's Witnesses watching that don't know, or maybe new XJWs don't know. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. She's used to be Democratic.
Right.
She used to be on the Democratic Party, has switched to support Trump. I mean, this is how big the movement is.
Right.
Because, and RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., we call him Bobby sometimes, again, has like jumped because of what the dark evil side on the other party is doing to the country, and flooding in immigrants.
Right.
Nothing wrong with immigrants. It's just that they're coming in illegally and they're bringing in tons of crime and criminals. People are letting from, I swear to God, some of our viewers are not going to know this because we're in a kind of a small niche here. But that other countries like Venezuela and other countries are letting people out of their jails and prisons. They're hardcore criminals. They're letting them out to come to the United States because of our open borders right now. And that and you look it up, you go Google things. I know how much Google is censoring things, but I read about it. There's crimes being committed by these illegal immigrants coming in, not like the not saying every immigrant is a criminal, but a lot of criminals are coming in through because of the open border policies.
Right.
So I'm all for immigrants and coming in, but legally, where they can be, vetted and that sort of thing. So really, you need to look into this if you haven't already. It's a very important subject, and that's why Ruby is doing this program, and is to teach everybody, or get everybody kind of up to speed on what the heck is going on in our country. So thank you, Ruby.
Wow. Yeah, no, thank you, Steph. That was amazing. Hello to San Diego, XJW in training / delivering disgusting 7-Eleven pizzas. I can't believe you even eat that. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ruby. Hi, Stephanie. How you all doing?
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, the 7. Oh, thank you, Thrifty, for the comment in the chat. I mean, it was kind of an inside joke about the 7-Eleven pizzas because of I was on a rush coming home, and I realized that I didn't have my meal prep for dinner because I didn't cook the evening before. So I just went and grabbed something quick over there, along with the 2 torpedoes here in Nevada's at 7-Eleven down the street. But that was I think that was last week sometime. So that just kind of became a hot joke between the chats here on Ruby and Vern's streams. So I just decided to throw that one up there. So,
Funny.
But I think
Yeah.
Tulsi
So
and
if anybody doesn't know, yeah, San Diego Pimo and I are friends because we both live in San Diego.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. The Yeah, the only thing is that the meetups seem like they've been in a slump, shall we say, since the one at what was it called, Blue Royal back in March or something. Yeah, I was hoping Dre and his lady were gonna be there, but unfortunately they weren't there either. So, but we got to see Passionate Lady.
That's all right. It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Tulsi Gabbard's going to be very instrumental. I remember, and she was one of the big reasons why I think Kamala Harris got knocked off in 2020 because Tulsi brought up her criminal record, and Tulsi is she's kind of, I would say, I brought this up on one of Ruby's streams, but I would call her very much like a female Nick Popovich in a certain way. For those who don't know, this is one of the times when I was inactive. Nick Popovich was a former Marine back in 2010 that was part of that Tea Party movement, who I had the privilege of helping against at that time incumbent Bob Filner down in San Diego's 51st district, which is right along the El Centro Calexico border on the south side. So yeah, she might have different views than Nick did, but Nick was quite instrumental. He was viewed as a possible upset for a district that voted always around 79-80% in Bob Filner's favor. But I think the message that we had resonated back in that time. And I think the message that I'm seeing with Tulsi is it's not just as far as exposing a specific record, but also being enforcing law that's already existing, or as we always said back then, enforcing federal laws that are not being enforced properly, shall we say, closing up the loopholes and all that. And I know strong borders was always something that we stood on very strongly about. And my dad, he was born in Mexico, came up through the system legally and everything like that, and kind of, even though he's not registered or voting for obvious reasons, shall we say, even though I have reason to believe he is Pimo also. But I think doing it through the system legally and paying the fees that he had to do, that's the proper way, in my opinion, the proper way of going through the system, waiting your turn in line and everything like that until you get the green light to have your hearing and what's going on. And
being vetted a little bit, right? Just not letting criminals come in is what I think is the important part.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, MS-13, that's another South American gang. I don't remember where they're coming from. at that time, Sheriff candidate Jay LaSure was pretty much a strong candidate to take over Sheriff Bill Gore's seat at that time, because he kind of, but there was, of course, when you have the unions and a lot of red tape that's going on, he even wanted red tape cut for people who wanted to carry concealed weapons, because the laws are so stringent here that Nick, who was served as a Marine for 16 years and a gunnery sergeant, could have a hard time even trying to get through the red tape. And this is a guy who's an expert in weapons and everything like that. That's how stringent the rules are here in California, which isn't really right. I mean, you think somebody like him or someone who knows how to handle a gun that used to work in law enforcement would be able to get pretty much not be a shoo-in, but at least be able to pass those tests like really easy. And even for somebody like them, like him, Rick Powell, who was running for assembly against Marty Block in those years, also would have the credentials, being a former ATF agent and everything like that. Couldn't even get a CCW. So there's a lot of
Wow.
things here in California that really need to be, like, a lot of red tape that needs to be cut. And I think, Ruby's probably going to hang me for this, but I'm not registered. But
San Diego,
but
we are going to work on that.
yeah, we have to. I think if everything works good, then I'll probably have my name. Right now, the mailing address is kind of a little bit of an issue. So with the three others here, shall we say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's been one of the roadblocks. I mean, if I was already gone, that would have been taken care of a long time ago.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Stephanie, I just sent you a text in the private chat, so I'll
Oh,
be
okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, so let's see. Let me go back to the comments, what people are saying. Let's see.
Shaq says
What do you
7-Eleven
think,
pizza.
San Diego Pima? What do you think about RFK joining or endorsing Trump and possibly working for that administration? What do you think about that?
I think that's a good thing. Ruby brought it up earlier, somebody who had crossed lines. And it reminds me of, shall we say, I think there was another election that happened, I think in 2010, when Scott Brown took the Kennedy seat in Massachusetts. That was totally like unheard of and all that stuff. I mean, no one expected that one. But yeah, it's probably a good thing, I guess, them just being able to cross lines like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they both have really good values of what, how they're seeing the future come together. And you know what I really love about RFK is he's about unity. It's not about, who's going to be right. I'm going to push to be right. I'm going to be pushed to win. No, he was like humble enough to say, look, I probably am not going to win because I've been so suppressed from the media and so suppressed from everything but the closest candidate that aligns with my thinking is Trump, not Kamala. So I'm going to endorse him, even though it was hard for him. I mean, I just think that had been so hard for him to say, yeah, I'm going to endorse Trump. Because I let me see if I can find my notes. Hold on. He said, just to recap, let's see. That he did not feel in his heart he had a realistic path to victory in the face of this electoral relentless censorship and media control. So, yeah, that's sad, but that had to take a lot of humility, and I also think that's amazing. Shows his character, what an amazing man he is, because he still wants to get shit done. He still wants to get shit done, and he knows, well, he's relying on Trump to, stand by his word that he will get shit done, and that Trump is going to, let RFK help in that process. So, yeah.
Yeah, and taking a loss like that, it's almost kind of reminds me of say like if the Padres or the Chargers would take a loss, they always shook hands at the end of the game with the opposing team that beat them. So
Oh,
it's
that's
kind
a
of
good.
like a showmanship class and everything like that. So that's how like or good sportsmanship, I
That's a
should
great
say.
example. Great example. Yeah. Yeah, that shows class. A lot of class. Yeah.
Or it's
I
like one of the
agree.
themes here, stay classy, San Diego. So
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to have to get going here.
Okay, Steph, thank you so much for joining. I loved
Yeah.
it. This was really great. And I'm
Yeah,
so
this
happy
was
that
fun.
I gave RFK another chance, cuz I was like, yeah, we need to talk about what RFK said.
Yeah, I think the Trump Vance RFK team is going to
Mhm.
be amazing. It's going to be amazing, and I'm real positive about the future. So,
All right. Thanks,
all
Steph, for
right, love you.
joining.
Thank you. Thank you for having me
Bye.
on. Peace
all right.
out. Peace out. I'll see you guys all next time. Don't forget to follow me on Steph Woke Up YouTube channel.
Yes, I'll put your information at the end of the live, and then I could edit the description
In the
and things
description.
like
All
that.
right. I would appreciate it. Love you,
Yes.
all. Love
Okay,
y'all.
bye,
Okay.
Steph.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So, San Diego. Just one question, if you don't mind me asking.
No, not at all.
If you think about registering and things like that, would you register? Like, is that something that you think you see yourself doing soon?
Most likely. I definitely would say most likely for sure. So it's like
Awesome.
I think it would be one of the first initial things that I would probably get out of the way first before even thinking about anything else and all that stuff. So like
Mhm.
so it's definitely I would say a long road if you want to call it that, and then plus
Mhm.
also doing some other things too. So it's like that should be probably first on the list too, especially if if we're getting that close to the next one.
Yes, yes, because the primaries just passed in my state, and I was lucky enough to vote for that. But now the general is coming up, and I'm seriously thinking about going third party because Trump has been really, I don't know, flippy floppy when it came to Amendment 3 and 4, I think it was, on the ballot for Florida, which was the third one was about marijuana, the fourth one was about abortion. And if you've seen the news, you've seen how Trump has kind of said, oh, I don't agree about this, but it should be changed, and whether or not he was going to vote on those amendments in Florida. And that really shook me because I was really passionate about Amendment 4, Amendment 3. Like, in my opinion, I would vote against those things. And I was like, damn, I thought Trump was on the same side as conservative values. And it's like I kind of woke up to that Trump is not going to be the way I want him to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a little disappointed. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can trust Trump like I did before. And I think I might vote third party. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. It's almost kind of like going more mainstream with the flow as opposed to the way he was the first time and all that. So not 100% sure.
Right.
It's like who was that other guy? Um, Chase. I remember that guy. That guy was like on fire.
Yes, yeah. Chase Oliver was like the libertarian, and I am a little leaning libertarian when it comes to like anti-Fed stuff, and that nobody should be treading on your rights. Constitution is like law of the land and things like that. But then when I was looking at Randall Terry, which is of the Constitutionalist Party, I felt like Randall Terry was like, I saw myself in him, and I was like, I relate so much to this guy. If I could, I probably would switch my party, and I would be Constitutionalist Party, because literally everything that he was talking about, that he's running on, I went to his website. I did research and everything. I was like, deep down in my heart, I'm not a Republican. I'm not, and maybe considered Christian, conservative, Christian nationalist. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I think I'm a constitutionalist. So I put that in my Twitter bio. And so I don't know. I think I might vote for Randall Terry. Like, because you have to vote, like I say all the time, you have to vote according to your values. If that person doesn't represent you, do not vote for them, whether or not they're gonna win or not. Because at the end of the day, it's more important for me to vote according to my morals or my values, and say, you know what, my conscience allows me that I voted for the guy who I thought would be the best option for America.
Yeah, it's what they call a representation. It may not be 100%, but if it's majority, then that's good enough right there.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, San Diego, I am so happy that you was able to join us, and I'm so happy that Steph joined me tonight. But we've been here for almost 2 hours, so I'm not gonna keep anybody here for too long, because you already know how these people can go. Forget about it. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna end the stream in about 2 minutes. And thank you for joining, San Diego.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So looking forward to seeing you again. Oh, I wanted to throw out there. I was talking to Joe and Fran yesterday. I think I might be heading up to visit them possibly April or May of next year. So I got to get in touch with Steph on that one in case her or whoever else wants to go from the general area. So just throwing it out there in case anyone's gonna, if in case like you or anybody wants to come up with us, or if you're able to, or what's going on. Culty knows about it too. So
Okay. So if you have any details or information, send it to us on Discord.
okay,
If you
we'll do
can.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am gonna end the stream now, and you have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Good night, everybody in the chat.
Good night.